Hello everyone, and today we are back for another Lumian Legacy PvP video, and we're going to be talking on more of the PvP 2.0 changes that Jamie just made on a recent stream. And thankfully, someone put all of the changes on a spreadsheet, so I can actually show you all of the changes that will happen on PvP 2.0. Now, Speeder Sonic and Cotton Stoops already made a video on this. This is going to be a longer style video because I'm going to talk about my opinions on each change, and I'm going to grade them on a grade of S, A, B, C, D, and F. So this video might actually be an hour long, so I will leave timestamps for each change, but yeah, this will be a very long video. So I hope you'll have your popcorn ready, and I just hope y'all can enjoy the video. Let's head right into the changes. Alright, we're going to get started on the new abilities that will be added for each of the new Lumians. So, for Charonyx, Prismatic is going to be changed for the Fog setting ability, which is pretty huge for Charonyx because the Fog weather is probably the best weather in all of Lumian Legacy, but I think changing Prismatic is kind of an L. I think this overall nerfs Charonyx, but I think I like this nerf because I think the Fog setting ability can be very good, and it can be very devastating if you don't use it right. So personally, I actually really like this change. I do like having Prismatic being changed to the Fog. I just hope the other ability, Radiance, gets changed because that ability is kind of trash. So, overall, I'm going to give this change a B tier. I think this is a B change. I like this. I like this change. So, this will be a B grade for me. And I'm going to put a grade right next to each of the Lumians, or the moves. So yeah, I think this is a B-style change. I think it's a good change, but I think it could have been better if you changed Radiance. So yeah, as for Whippledriff, the Compliant ability, which really isn't that good, is going to be changed to the Gust setting ability, which I like this a whole lot better. I'm going to give this an A tier. I like this a whole lot better compared to the Charonyx change, because Compliant is kind of not a very good ability. So changing that to the Gust setting ability, I think is a huge dub for Whippledriff. Even though the Gust weather is probably the worst out of all the weathers, I still think this is a huge dub change. So I'm going to give this an A tier from Jamie. This is good. As for Deludrix, Shakedown will be changed to the Rain setting ability, and I hate this change. They should have changed Vivid Sight, and I know that Deludrix is going to be added a new move in the future that will utilize Vivid Sight, but I don't like Vivid Sight that much, because Deludrix doesn't have any moves that can miss at the moment, and Shakedown is just a very useful ability that can be very good. There aren't any other good Shakedown Lumians in the game other than Deludrix, and the fact that the Shakedown's being changed to Rain is really devastating in my opinion. I do love that it's getting the Rain ability, which is good, but why change Shakedown? I really don't like this change. I like the weather change itself, I just hate that it's the Shakedown ability getting changed. So I'm going to give it a C. I hope Jamie changes his mind and gets rid of Vivid Sight, but I doubt it's going to happen. So I think this is a C change. If this was with the other ability, Vivid Sight, this would be an A change, but since it's changing Shakedown, it's a C change in my opinion. As for Billoforge, Forge being changed to the Heatwave setting ability, I don't know how to feel about this one. I'm gonna give this one a C as well, just because I think Forge is the best ability for Billoforge. Yes, there is Scorching Skin for a defensive Billoforge, but a lot of people run Bane of Haste, and you want to swap into a fire type, so... And a lot of the Bane of Haste setters are actually weak to fire, especially Soulburst Icicle, so you can utilize that Forge ability to your advantage, and the fact that you're losing that with the Heatwave setting ability, that's very frustrating. But I don't think it's a terrible change. I think it's fine for what it is, so I'm going to rate it as a C tier. It's kind of meh, in my opinion. As for Soulburst Krakaloa, Krakaloa is having Applied Frustration changed to the Heatwave setting ability. And I think you'll already know what this ability is going to be. S tier. This is S tier. Soulburst Krakaloa actually has a very useful ability now. And while Applied Frustration can be used in some situations, it's not very good on a Lumian that has only 12 speed, and doesn't hit that hard. So, I think this is an S tier change for Soulburst Krakaloa. I like this. So, these first 5 Lumians are having their abilities changed, while the next couple are going to not be about the weathers. It's going to be about other abilities themselves. So, Gardrone is going to be added a new ability called Levitate. This is a good change. I like this. I'm going to give this a B tier. I like this change. I think it's literally just adding another ability, which is pretty cool. So, I think that's good for Gardrone, because in some situations, it will actually make it immune to Earthquake. You know, one of the moves that Gardrone is weak to. So, I think that's a huge dub for Gardrone. So, I'm giving it a B tier. I think that's a good change. Now we're going to have Territorial going into Smoldering Joy. I don't know what Smoldering Joy does, but the fact that it's replacing a useless ability like Territorial, it's an A tier change. It's great. We don't have to deal with Territorial anymore. We actually get an ability that's somewhat useful now. So, I don't know what Smoldering Joy does, but I'm going to give it an A tier because it's changing a pretty trash ability into something that might actually be more useful. Now, during Smoldering Heat Weather, it increases the user's range attack by 1.5x, but health decreases 1/8 at the end of each turn. I don't know. I like this, but I also don't really like it. I'm gonna give it a C tier. I think the change is cool, but I think it makes the heat weather very situational compared to the other weather. I mean, fog can really destroy abilities. Gust can give air type speed. The rain ability is very good for Sober Skelic. That kind of just puts the heat wave ability in the dust right now. I feel like this is the worst secondary effect of all the weathers. So, I'm going to give it a C tier. I don't hate it, but I also don't really like it at the same time. Now, Krakaloa is having Territorial change to Scorching Skin. Just like with the other ability, S tier. It's an actual useful ability that's not Territorial. Amazing! I love it. Now we have Volkaloa that has Territorial that will be changed to Guerrilla Tactics. S tier. Again, it's losing a pretty useless ability and actually given probably one of the better abilities in the game. It increases your attack for every move by a lot, but you can't use support moves, which is awesome for Volkaloa. Yes, it won't be able to use Brawn Boost, but it'll give you a reason to actually use 4 attacks over the Brawn Boost variant. So, I like this. I think Guerrilla Tactics is a great change for Volkaloa. So, I'm going to give it an S tier. I'm going to move down so y'all can see some more of the future moves. Now, alright, so now we get into Trumbull, which Territorial will be changed to Triumph. I don't know what Triumph is. I think it's one of the newer abilities. I kind of forgot what it does. But even then, just like with the other abilities, it's changing a rather useless ability into something potentially very good. So, A tier. I'm giving it an A tier because it gets rid of Territorial. Yeah, you can tell I don't like Territorial at all. So, the fact that Territorial is getting replaced with another ability that could be handy, that is very good for Trumbull. Now, we got Kirolen, who's losing Territorial and gaining Shakedown. Now this one, I'm a little bit more down on compared to the other ones. I'm going to give it a B tier, just because it's replacing Territorial. But for Shakedown on Kirolen? Why are you giving Kirolen Shakedown when you can keep Shakedown on Deludrix? I don't know. But I think this is fine. The fact that Shakedown is just a way better ability compared to Territorial. I don't agree for having this ability on Kirolen. It's better than Territorial, so I guess I'll put it a B tier. It's better. Not recommend it, but better. Now, Cosimore Encased with Regift being changed to Quick Recovery. I think this is a nice A tier. This means that anytime you slumber, you could swap out and immediately wake up, which is actually a very good buff for Cosimore Encased. It kind of needs it, in my opinion. Cosimore Cracked. Regift is being changed to Guerrilla Tactics but ranged. I'm gonna give it a B. I like Guerrilla Tactics, but not on Cosimore Cracked too much, because it does need Peace of Mind setup, and it needs Slumber to heal its HP back. Because Cosimore Cracked doesn't have as good coverage compared to, like, Volkaloa, so I don't know if I like this as much as Volkaloa getting Guerrilla Tactics, but I think it's fine. But I do think it's a bit of a nerf, and while it is a needed nerf, I don't think it's great. As for Cosimore Unleashed, it's going to lose Seargate and go into Cloud 9, which I don't know what Cloud 9 is, so I'm going to keep this unranked for now. I have no idea on what to rank, because I don't know what the Cloud 9 ability is. So, I'm not going to rank this one. I'm going to keep this unranked for now. So, Skelic, Contact Curse, is getting replaced with Brute Force. I think this is an A tier change. I like this. I want harder hitting moves from Skelic. That is nice. This will make Aqua Jaws a good move, Mega Chomp a good move, Chili Chomp a good move. It's basically another Skelic, but it's a little slower and it has Drudge. I think this is a good change for Skelic. Pharoglyph is losing Contact Curse for Corinth. I don't know what that ability does. I'm going to give it a B tier though, because it's better than Contact Curse. So, yeah. Contact Curse, just, I don't know, not a very good ability at the moment. So I think just having that being changed for something better, I think is good. Yeah, it makes all foes' energy costs increase by 10%, while the user gets a 10% energy cost decrease. So yeah, that's better than Contact Curse. So I'm going to give it a B tier. Now, Cinnogre is losing Villagent for Ignorant. Ooh, this one's interesting, because I think Villagent is very good in some situations, especially for Hypno Spammers. Hypno Spammers are kind of a nightmare, but come on, you're getting the Ignorant ability. Probably one of the best abilities in the game, and Cinnogre has really good bulk on both sides. This will actually make Cinnogre actually kind of useful. I actually like this change. I'm going to give it an S tier. I'm going to give it an S tier. This gives you a reason to actually use Cinnogre over Charonyx. Because if someone is setting up, you're not going to take that much damage from the setup moves anymore. This is a huge change for Cinnogre, and I like it. And Cinnogre isn't going to be overpowered because it doesn't really have any way to heal. So I think this is perfectly good. This is an S tier change in my opinion. I like this. Now, Wiki Wiki is having Chaperone replaced with Compliant. I don't remember what Compliant does. I'm going to give this a D tier because this doesn't really help Wiki Wiki that much. Now, Jellusa Incandescent is being replaced with Illuminate. And F tier. This is an F tier change by Jamie. Incandescent was never the problem on Jellusa. The problem with Jellusa is how bulky it is, how fast it is, and how it can easily get all of its health back with Luster Loot. Incandescent was never the problem. It's Enchanted Coat that was the problem. Now, if you change Enchanted Coat with Illuminate, maybe this would be like a C tier or B tier. But Incandescent was literally not the problem. I don't know why Jamie made that change and not change Enchanted Coat. But I guess that's kind of how it is. But I'm giving it an S tier. An F tier, I mean. Not S tier, F tier. Now, Arapaigo? Apprehension being replaced with Brain Rush. Well, you already know what I'm going to rank this. S tier. I am ranking this an easy S tier because guess what? Instead of having an absolute useless ability, you actually have an ability that can make Arapaigo really dangerous in the rain. You use Clutch Plushie on Arapaigo, you pivot it in the rain, you use a Magnify, and you swing. That is scary. That's going to make Arapaigo really good in the rain. I love this change. This is great. I love this. So, there is one more ability on the next page. Let me just transfer y'all over here. I am dragging this with the other side. And the last ability we're going to be talking about is Avitross losing Early Bird and getting Madcap. Now, Avitross would never use this ability, but the fact that Early Bird, kind of a useless ability other than waking up quicker, is being changed to an ability that actually fits Avitross's moveset, Thunder Crash and Nosedive, is very good for Avitross. Very good immediate damage. So, yeah, it's not going to be used over the rev-up set, but it is a nice change. I'm actually going to give it an A tier. The reason why it isn't an S tier is because, you know, the rev-up set is better, but the fact that it's replacing a rather mid ability to something actually usable is a really good change. I like this change for Avitross. So, we are done with the new Lumian abilities. Now, we're going to go to the ability changes now. And we're going to first start with Weaselin's Trader ability. Nerf when switch in. Instead of trading items immediately, you wait until the end of the turn. Now, I don't know about this. I really don't know about this change. Because on one hand, Trader is very annoying to beat. But on the other hand, Trader is the only reason Weaselin is really good. So, I kind of don't know what's the best for Weaselin and Trader. I think this change is fine. I don't hate it, but I don't necessarily like the change in either. It is nice not being annoyed by Trader, but I feel like that could also be easily played around. I'm debating between B or C tier. I think I'm gonna give it B, because it's not as annoying as it used to be, but it also kinda, like, why do you use Trader at this point when you could use the Sugar Rush ability on Weasley? So, but I guess it could still trade the items until the end of the turn, so, you know, you can use this against a Gargolem. You can use this against a Gargolem's speed and still be fine, probably. You give it heavy shackles and you're good. So, I'm okay with it. Herd behavior is being fixed. I mean, it's an ability being fixed. Yes, it's a kind of trash ability, so I'm only going to give it an A tier. But it is very good for doubles, so I think this is good. Resentful nerf? Yes, yes, yes. Resentful nerf? I am so done with Imperior and Resentful. This is an S tier move. I'm done with the stupid Resentful ability completely destroying a Lumian at full health. Now you actually gotta chip the opposing Lumian if you want to use your Imperior. I like this. I like this a lot. Pitch Black, nerf to make Dark-type moves cost 25% more energy. Now, only Helvantic gets this move. I don't know how to feel about this. I think it still buffs the moves, but making it use more energy, I don't know about this one. I'm gonna give it a C tier. I don't think this was necessary. I don't think this change for Helvantic and Pitch Black was necessary. Luck of the Sea, buff to also deal more damage with critical hits. Well, this is gonna make it's gonna make Hydralin a little bit more usable, but it's still Hydralin. Hydralin is still kind of trash. It needs Buck Up. It needs Buck Up too, if it wants to really be good. Power Jaw, nerfs so chomping and biting moves cost 25% more energy. Again, just like Pitch Black, I feel like this is unnecessary, and it's worse because Power Jaw is on more Lumians. I'm gonna give it a D tier. This is kind of an unnecessary change to Power Jaw. I don't really like this too much. Like, I'm fine with it. It's not something that it's not something I despise or anything, but I feel like it's an unnecessary change. Like, now I guess Power Cuffs can't be used on Hunder, but why? What's the point of adding more energy? It's still going to be very powerful. I guess it runs out of moves quicker, but I don't know. I don't like this change too much. I think Power Jaw should stay the same. So that's a D tier change. Tank, nerfs to entry hazards, pop-up ability. I'm perfectly okay with this change, actually. I'm going to give this a B tier. I actually like this change. I actually think having Tank nerfed to actually be activated from the hazards does add more, it does actually give you a reason to actually get rid of hazards on your Snack of Unicon. I like this change, actually. Swampy is buffed to 100%. I don't know too much about Swampy. I think it makes it so plant-type moves do more damage. I think this is fine. I think this is a fine increase, so I'm okay with this. Now we got the Guru, which is buffed to 70 power. Huge. That means Fire Slam and Counter Stance actually gets buffed by Guru. This is an S tier change. I love this change. Yes, yes, yes. There's actually a reason to use Guru over Double Strike now. I like that. And then Mystic Tone, buffs so every move activates the ability, but fixed dodge won't activate the ability. I don't know how to feel about this. I can see a lot of people ranking this in the A or S tier. I'm going to rank it in the B tier, and it is mainly specifically for Summon Rejuvenate teams. Yes, I used Summon before, and I built teams to specifically pull Rejuvenate. So if it activates on every move, that's going to make Celesting almost unstoppable to beat. So I don't like this. But I do understand why the change is happening, but I don't know. Rejuvenate Summon? I don't know about this one. So I'm going to give it a B tier for now. Now, we're going to go to the move changes. There's a bunch of move changes. So, Complete Demolition. Buff accuracy to 100% and buff energy to 50. I 100% agree with this. S tier change. The complete demolition is actually useful now. Same with Tsunami. The fact that it actually uses only 50 energy now is awesome. Gamma Pulse being nerfed to 45. I am happy with that as well. Yes, these are all S tier changes so far. Now, Electroburst being buffed to 100 power, nerfed the accuracy to 90, but nerfed the energy cost to 54. I mean, it gives you a reason to use Electroburst on Ikazune over Thunderstrike, especially when you consider the fact that Electroburst is good at doubles. I do like that, how it makes Electroburst stand up from Thunderstrike, but I still think people are going to use Thunderstrike because, again, that 4 energy cost makes a lot of difference. And that nerf accuracy, people don't want to risk missing their attacks. I'm going to give this a B tier. I do like how it makes Electroburst stand out from Thunderstrike, but I don't think it's that much more worth using it over Thunderstrike. So, I'm going to give it a B tier. I like that change. Double Whack, nerf accuracy to 90%. I don't care what Jamie thinks about moves, on what they should be. F tier. No reason to nerf this thing back to 90%. There's literally no reason to use Double Whack to begin with, other than the break clutch plushies. Now, there's literally zero reason to use it when you can actually miss your stupid attack. F tier. F tier. Terrible decision. I hate this. So, F tier on the Double Whack change. Battlehorn, buff energy cost to 30. I'm okay with this. I don't like it. Like, I like it, but I'm not insane with it. Air Whip, I'm okay with this as well. Yeah, it's not supposed to have the high crit rate, so I'm alright with it being removed. Baneful Bash, nerf poison chance. I'm perfectly fine with this. A tier, I like that a lot. And same with Muck Blast. Yes, S tier. It feels like Muck Blast poisons Lumians way too much. So that is an S tier change. And the final thing on this page, we're going to move on to the next page next, is going to be Adaptive Assault Typeless. Complete rework to be a +1 priority move. An Adaptive Assault for Typeless is 70 power. This makes Servalin amazing now. I'm loving this. This gives Servalin a reason to be used over Borak, while not completely destroying Borak in the process. This is the perfect change. This is the best move I think Jamie has made so far. This is an S, not just an S tier. This is an S plus tier. I'm going to put this in S plus. This is the best change so far for Jamie. I love this. I love this change. This is great. I love this. I'm 100% support because it gives you a reason to actually use Servalin. It has stronger priority with bows, but with Borak has that Earth typing, which Spirit types can't swap into. So, I love this. I love this change. It gives you a reason to actually use Servalin over Borak while not completely destroying Borak in the process. So, yeah, that's it for this page. Now let's switch back over. And let's go to the bottom page, the bottom left now. And now we're into the slap down nerf. Nerf to not increase the power of the move when slapping down an item. I'm in the middle with this. I think the extra damage can be very useful, but I can understand where Jamie is coming from. I feel like they should make slap down 70 power and not 65. I think 65 power is way too low. I feel like 70 while slapping down an item would be a nice compromise. So, I'm going to give it a C tier. I don't hate the change, but I'm not a fan of the change neither. Raging Tackle and Raging Howl going down to 60. That is an A tier change. That's great for your energy. I like that. Baffle, reworked to be Ancient War Clone, but doesn't bypass Scapegoat. Interesting. I have no idea what to think about Baffle. Because personally, as broken as losing -1 speed is, I feel like Baffle is something that can be played around. It can be, you could swap into one of your tanky Lumians and pivot out. You can go into Dragodyne and use Staunch. You can go into Hember and use Staunch, and Tyrex and go Staunch. You can go into a Lumian like Dorego or Dorgo with Anomaly and gain +1 speed. You can go into something with Combative, and you can gain boost to your attacks. Like, I feel like Baffle can be played around. So, it being nerfed to be an Ancient War clone, I'm not the biggest fan of, actually. But I do think Baffle did need a nerf, so I'm still gonna give it a B tier, despite not being the biggest fan of it. I don't know how to nerf Baffle, in my opinion. I don't know what's the best way to nerf it. Do you get rid of the speed decrease? Do you make it decrease another stat? I don't know. The fact that it's a rework to Ancient Roar, I don't like it too much. So, I'm gonna give it a B tier, because I do think Baffle needs a nerf. I just don't know if this is the nerf I would have gone with it. Tear down. You lower the target's evasion by 1 stage while buffing its energy costs. Now, if this is with the same ability of getting rid of hazards, I am on board with it. But if not, it's a B tier. I mean, it's a nice change, but I feel like if it gets rid of hazards still, I am perfectly down with this. I'm good with this. Now, Oppress, buff to 70 power. I like this change. This is an A tier. I like this change to Ill Will as well. A tier. 2 A tier moves by Jamie. Splitting Headache being buffed to A tier. I like this. I like these other moves getting buffed, giving people more of a reason to actually get the status conditions with these moves. So, I like this a lot. Now, Dart Burst being changed to be Population Bomb. This is interesting. I actually like this change. I'm actually going to give it an A tier. I like this change. Population Bomb is such a very high risk, high reward move. I like this. I think this is something Protogon really needs. I like this. And it can also break through clutch plushies really well as well. So, I actually like this. I actually really like the change to Dart Burst. Hypnotize its Snore Spores, rework to work on Yawn. S tier. I'm done getting Hypno spammed. I'm done. So, S tier. Steel Trap, rework to be Pestilence Clone. I'm okay with it. If more Lumians get Steel Trap, I'll be fine with it, but as of now, I think B tier is fine. Buff to double Empower. If the opponent is air type, it removes the air type until they feign or switch. So that's SWAT. I love this change. It gives you a reason to actually use SWAT over other moves. I'm going to give that an S tier. I think that's a good little buff to SWAT. Piercing Drive. Change to not bypass dodge, only bypass escape though. Blocking / protect moves like Briar Block also bypasses enchantments, but it buffs to 85 power. But it still does have that dreaded miss chance, so I'm going to give it a B tier. It's a good change, but if they got rid of that 90% accuracy, I would have been more all in with it. Geyser buff being 80 power, I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't hate it, I like it, but not a lot. So I'm going to give it a B tier. Now let's go down here. Health Gift and Energy Gift. Rework to where it's just one move. Buff energy cost to 40 energy. Perfectly okay with this. Not many Lumians use these moves, but I'm fine with this. Holy Slash. Reworked to be a ranged attack. And the energy cost is at 35. S tier. S tier. Holy Slash is actually useful, ladies and gentlemen. You can use Holy Slash now. S tier, S tier, S tier. Soul Drain getting nerfed. Okay, Soul Drain being nerfed to 80 power. C tier. I think this is a little unnecessary. I feel like, first of all, I don't think it nerfs Cephalops that much. 85 to 80 is not that much of a nerf. Not to mention that I don't think Cephalops needed a nerf. Like, I think a lot of people consider Cephalops an Uber. I think it's the most overrated Uber of all time still. And personally, I don't think a nerf to Soul Drain is what's going to fix the problem. If people think Cephalops is an Uber, wow, you nerfed 5 base power. That's really going to fix Cephalops. So yeah, I don't like this change as much, but I don't hate it. So I'm going to give it a C tier. I'm okay with this. Parasitize, that's an A tier buff. You could actually calc this with energy now. Is awesome. Krakaloa is going to be a lot better. But the Parasitize buff in energy. Paint Shower. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Highly damaging move. I like this. High risk, high reward. Because you lose a ranged attack stat after you use the move. So I like that they buff the power and buff the energy. I love this. So, great change to Paint Shower. I hope more Lumians get to this. But buff the 25% effect to 10%. Buff 50% effect to 25%. Phoenix Flame. I don't know what this means. I don't really know Phoenix Flame that much. I know when above 50% energy, you actually use your... You actually get rid of status, but when under that, you don't get rid of status. So, I don't know. I'm gonna give a question mark for this. I don't know what to say about that, because I don't know what the site is telling me, and what's actually being changed with Phoenix Flame. If y'all know more about Phoenix Flame, please tell me in the comments below, because I'm not too sure about this one, because it says buff 25% effect to 10% effect? That sounds like a nerf more than a buff, but okay. Now, Plunge. Buffed energy cost is 35. That's fine. No one's still going to use Plunge, but hey, I'm okay with it. Submerge. B tier as well. I like that change as well. Toxic Spores being buffed to 90%. It makes it exactly like Poison, so I'm going to give it a B tier. Static Spores is, yeah, I like this, actually. I actually like Static Spores being like that. I'm going to give it an A tier, actually. And then Talent Tray, nerf, so if the opponent switches out, it'll regain its old ability back. I don't know about this one. On one hand, I think it's good. But on the other hand, what's the point of clicking and using Talent Trade? I'm on the fence on this one. I'm honestly more on the fence of hating it more than liking it, as weird as it sounds. And I know Talent Trade is very powerful, but I don't like this change at all. I'm going to give it a D tier. I don't like this. So, I don't agree with this change to Talent Trade. I think Talent Trade was fine as it is. So, I don't think that was the right way to go with it. So, that's it for that page. We have 3 pages left, and we're already 30 minutes in. This video is literally going to be an hour long. Yep, I warned you, 30. It's going to be an hour long. So yeah, Rant buffed power to 65%, but nerfed accuracy. Okay, the accuracy was nerfed, C tier. Hey, it is buffed to 65% though, which is cool, but I hate the accuracy nerf. Anything that nerfs accuracy, I'm going to rank it lower, because if it's not 100%, it's 50%. You're going to miss all the time. Gain Drain. I mean, not many people use Gain Drain, so I'm going to put it at B tier. It's nice that it was buffed, so I like that. Same with Square 1. I'm going to give this one a little higher, though, because it actually gives you more of a reason to use, to get rid of the stat boost to opposing Lumian. So I actually like this. Pep Jab. I like this. I like this buff. A tier. The 55 energy is just way too awkward. Especially when you combine that with Vital Jab too, which, by the way, Vital Jab's the same way. I'm gonna give this an A tier. I don't know if I agree with this move though. Actually, no, I'm gonna take it a step down. Reason is why I still like the change, but the reason why I liked Pep Jab being nerfed is because it gave it a reason to use Pep Jab over Vital Jab. That Vital Jab uses more energy, but you heal HP, while Pep Jab gives you more energy back. So I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like Pep Jab should be 50. Vital Jab should still be 55. That's what I think. Because Vital Jab heals your HP back. So I feel like I like the buff. I'm gonna definitely utilize it. But I don't know if I like it as much as the Pep Jab energy cost nerf. So yeah, Power Draw, that's an A tier. Actually a good reason to use Power Draw now. Near and Far Enchantment buffed energy to 40. I like that. That's going to be an A tier. Flare. Yes, yes, yes. Flare is way too overpowered. Flare needed a change. Flare is being an S tier. The fact, this is exactly what I would have done with Flare. Nerf it to 60 power, so it can still nuke Lumians that it can outspeed. But it won't absolutely destroy Lumians that you hit neutrally. That is an S tier change to Flare. It's now not freaking broken. So I like that. Wonder Herb. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice little buff. I'm going to give it a B tier. Sap Plant. Ooh, 25 energy for Sap Plant. I don't know how to feel about this one, actually. I'm more on the side of liking now. I'm going to give this a B tier. I think that's a nice little buff for Sap Plant. I think Jamie did this right. Blood Drain to 30 energy. I'm going to give this a B tier as well. Only one Lumian runs Blood Drain. I hope more Lumians get it in the future. Thunder Crash. Buff power to 95. Nerf energy cost to 40. I actually like this change. I'm going to give this an A tier. actually makes Thunder Crash very good. I like this. I actually like this change a lot. So I'm going to give this an A tier. Not an S tier because of the nerf energy costs, but the buffed power while recoiling yourself is perfect. This is good. Meteor Crash, Meteor Smash, buffed to hit both opponents in double battles. I'll give it a B tier. I mean, the change is there. Nice little buff for doubles. I don't think it necessarily needed it. The Cosimore forms necessarily needed it. But I think it's nice. I think it's fine. I don't think many people are going to be too upset with this one. Tempest, reworked to be Body Crash, but uses Speed Stat in place of its Range Stat. Didn't it already use its Speed Stat? I'm going to have to give this one question marks. Because I don't know what the move wants me to think of it. I'm going to give it question marks. Because I thought Tempest does use your Speed Stat. I don't know about this. I don't like this. So, I don't know. I'm going to give it question marks for now, which actually y'all can't see it. Now y'all can see it. There we go. Now, Dissipate, nerf energy costs. I'm perfectly okay with it. Dissipate is way too overpowered, so it getting an energy nerf is perfectly fine for me. Elemental Burst, nerf energy cost to 50. As unnecessary as it is, I think it's okay. I'm going to give it an A tier. Because again, it kind of matches to that 250 standard. I actually am okay with this nerf. And Hordashi being buffed to 70 power, S tier. Not only does it get work by Guru still, because of the Guru buff, but it also makes Hordashi a better driving force, which is good for Sumo Beetle. So yeah, that is all of the move changes. And now, we're going to get to the Lumian gaining / losing moves. And we got a lot to talk about. So, first of all, Charonyx is losing Lightspeed Ray. So it looks like it's not losing Spite anymore. Looks like Charonyx is still going to have Spite. And it's still going to have Flash and Flame. But you know what? I'm going to give this an S tier. I would have been more on the fence if it lost Spite. But the fact that Charonyx still has Spite and only losing Lightspeed Ray, I am perfectly happy with. I'm going to give this an S tier. Now, Empathize on Gargolem. I don't know. Losing Empathize on Gargolem, I'm going to give it a B tier. I'm okay with it. I don't know if that's really necessary, though. But I don't know how else you would nerf Gargolem other than making it lose Empathize. And we're talking about Gargolem defense form here, because all the other Gargolems I think are fine. We're talking about Gargolem defense form. But I think losing Driving Force doesn't necessarily fix the problem. So I feel like this is good. I do agree that Gargolem defense needs a nerf. I don't know if Empathize was the way to go, but I do like to acknowledge that there's a nerf to defense form. Jellusa losing Deep Freeze, easy A tier. It's not going to destroy every single water type in sight anymore, and it's still very useful because it can still set up. So I'm okay with this. Gastro losing Tamp, S tier. It should have never have gotten Tamp to begin with. So I'm okay with that. Protogon gaining Zipzap. No. I don't want Protogon getting Zipzap. It just feels like the laziest way to buff Protogon. I've said this once and I've said this before. It feels like the laziest way to buff Protogon. It's already getting population bomb. I think instead of giving Protogon Pivot, I think you should give it Draco Beam. Either Draco Beam or Energy Break. It makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that Protogon runs Augment. This will actually make it so Protogon can hit Chartiki and Meditoad neutrally. I feel like it should gain Draco Beam, not Zipzap. Zipzap just feels really lazy to me. And even with Protogon gaining Zipzap, how about all the other Pivot Lumians that outclass it? You have Zulong with Zipzap, Ikazune with Zipzap, Deludrix with Zipzap, Phage Nut with Zipzap, and then you have all the other Flash and Flea Lumians as well. Protogon is still outclassed by late game cleaners and pivoters. Adding Zipzap to Protogon isn't going to make Protogon that much better. This is the D tier. It needs a buff, but Zipzap is not the buff for it. Again, Zipzap is the laziest way to buff Protogon. Population Bomb, I like. This one, I don't. Give it Draco Beam. Give it Draco Beam or Energy Break, and then I would probably reconsider. Now, Wrestling losing Rogue Assault, I'm actually okay with. I think Rogue Assault's a little bit too powerful, so I'm okay with Wrestling losing Rogue Assault. Now, let's go back to the side. We only have a couple pages left, guys. Oh my god, we only have a couple pages left. Let's do this. So, alright, we're into Zulong losing Fire Breath. And you know what? I am actually okay with Zulong losing Fire Breath. I'm actually perfectly okay with it. I don't think it's going to hurt it too much. It's going to add a couple more walls to Zulong, but I don't think it's going to hurt it that much. I think it's okay. I like this. I like that it's losing that move. Cephalops losing Aquajaws and gaining Grave Record. Now, I know that people say that this is a nerf for Cephalops. It replaces a move that misses for a move that hits. S plus 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 tier. Okay, maybe not with the extra pluses. It can't miss. It's a melee move that can't miss. I don't care about the melee defense drop. It can miss. Any moves that can miss, I hate. So, S tier. S tier. You can tell I'm absolutely biased against moves that can miss. So, alright. Now, Final Jab on Wobbulas. I don't know how to feel about this one. I can see why it should get it, but I don't think it should get it. I mean, it does add a nice tech with Rageful Plushie, because it's a nice mixed attacker. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this change. I'm going to give it a C tier. I think it's kind of meh. I think I like the idea, but I don't think it should be Wobbulas getting Vital Jab. I think there are other Lumians that should get Vital Jab over Wobbulas. Now, Tripaste getting Vital Jab and Rogue Assault. Now this, on the other hand, S tier. You actually make Shrimpaste good. I like this. You made Shrimpaste kind of good now, so I like that. Your Soul getting Haro. I like this move. I'm going to give it a B tier because not a lot of people will run it, but Haro is a nice move for Your Soul. Lumala is getting Energy Break. Yes, 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 yes. S tier. This gives you a reason to use Lumala. You can hit Spirit type super effectively. Lumala is probably one of the most outclassed Lumians in the entire game. So you giving Energy Break to Lumala? W. Absolute W. Spreezy getting Barbs. Ooh. I'm okay with this, actually. I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a B tier. It suffers from 4-move syndrome, so if it uses Barbs, it can't use any of its other moves. So, I'm okay with this. I'm just happy that Spreezy didn't get Body Crash and Battering Ram. I think this is good. I think this is a good way to buff Spreezy without making Odasho completely busted. Now, Sachi getting Dissipate. It's fine. I think it's a nice move for it, but I don't think I would ever use it. Bywarn, on the other hand, yes! You can actually Dissipate out with the Motivational ability and have Motivational up. I love this change to Bywarn. Yes, it won't be used over Cleone, but in the lower tiers, Bywarn's going to actually be decent now with Pivot and Motivational. So, I'm going to give it an A tier. Not an S tier because Bywarn still needs other moves, but I'm perfectly okay with it. Mewtwo getting Provoke and Magnify. Oh, man! I'm going to give this an A tier. This might be a busted Lumian, though. I don't know. Magnify might be a step too far, but hey, Mewtwo has 62 speed, so I think I'm going to be okay with this, actually. I think I'm going to be okay with this. Seer Knight getting Burn Up. I mean, C. I don't think it needed it, but okay. Well, I don't know why. Dissipate on Terrashino. Oh, God. Dissipate on Terrashino. Oh, man. Okay. Now, this is interesting, because Terrashino is another one of those Lumians that's going to suffer from 4-move syndrome, because you need Blind Spot Batter, you need Body Slam, you need Rejuvenate. I guess you replace Bulk Up then. I actually like this. This gives Terrashino another option, and it makes Terrashino a bridge into other stuff. I like this, actually. Terrashino's already pretty good, and I think this is a way to actually buff Terrashino more. I like this. I'm down with this. I'm going to give this an A tier. As for Cinnogre getting Tear Down, I mean, it's fine. It can get rid of hazards now. That's B. Tyrex getting Tear Down. I don't like this as much, actually. In fact, I'm going to go down to D tier. I don't think Tyrex should have Tear Down. I don't agree with this play at all, actually. So, I don't agree with that. Weasel, on the other hand, I'm perfectly okay with having Teardown. And Mulmurk, I think it's a nice little good. It's a nice move for it, so I'm going to give it a B tier as well. Oxydrake as well. I'm going to give that one a C tier because it can actually place up hazards itself. So it will get rid of hazards anytime it clicks the move. So you got to decide, you want to be the Barb's setter or the Barb's remover. So I'm going to give a C tier there. I think it's a nice buff, but I do think it kind of counterplays what Oxydrake does. So, yeah. Oh, also, you can't see the rest of it. So let me move down so y'all can see the rest of the Lumians. But I can't go down all the way, so I got to drift the next two down. Valkyrie getting Gust. Whoa. I'm going to give this an A tier. Although I think the speed buff to Valkyrie might be a little too much. But I'm perfectly okay with it. Same with Vesperatu. I don't think I agree with it as much as Valkyrie, but I can live with it. I still think it's a nice move. So, Vesperatu gets a B tier for Gust. Gobademic, I like this. I actually like this. Again, same with Oxydrake. It's kind of counterproductive, but you can use Gobademic later in the game and use a Gust. So, I'm actually okay with this. So, I'm going to give this an A tier. Surebot getting these moves, alright. I like Burn Up and I like Teardown. I think that's a nice little A tier for Surebot. Harvesect getting Burn Up. Really? Harv getting Burn Up. I don't like it actually. I'm gonna give this a F tier. I actually don't think Harvesect should have removal. I disagree with this. It seems kind of counterproductive other than to get rid of hazards. And yes, it's good to have that option, but it makes no sense for Harv to get rid of hazards. So, I don't agree with this. I actually don't like this play as much. So, F tier. I'm gonna give Burn Up F. Like, okay, maybe that's a little too... I'll give it D tier. I don't think I hate it that much to put it in F, but I don't agree with this. I don't agree with Burn Up Harv at all. I don't agree with it. I don't think that's a good move on Jamie's part there. Now, Raccoon, Barbs, and Icicle Traps. I'm okay with it. I mean, it buffs Raccoon. It makes it a suicide lead. Better suicide lead, so that's fine. Defensive Skelic with Icicle Traps. Alright. I'm down with that. Barbadger getting Icicle Traps. Now, this I'm down with. Adding a defensive move for Barbadger is very nice. So, alright. We're down to our final two now. And yeah, let's head to them now. Now, Avitross getting Icicle Traps. Yes! S tier. S tier move. You could actually utilize it 150 speed and place down something. I actually really like this. And for Odayaga getting Icicle Traps, I'm going to give a C tier. I don't like this as much because I think Odayaga is better as a trap remover and not necessarily a trap setter. I don't like Icicle Traps on Odayaga, but it's not something I necessarily hate. So, yeah. Those are how I rank all of the move changes. So let me just show you. These are the new these are the Lumian abilities. Let me move this up so y'all can see everything. These are all of my rankings. I'm gonna drag it down. These are all the new abilities. There's all my rankings. I have one of them unranked. There is the ability changes. And then the move changes. Again, just showing you all the rankings. I think the best change Jamie is going to make is the Adaptive Assault change for Servalin. I think that is the best change that Jamie has done. As for the worst change, I'm just looking around. I think the worst change is probably... It's either Incandescent with Jellusa, or it's... I'm looking down on the list a little bit more. Or... I guess... I don't know, I think the Jellusa one, I think, is the worst. I have an Incandescent change. I feel like it's the worst one. It also zips at Protogon, but that is because of bias. I still think it's a nice buff for Protogon. I just think Protogon getting Zip Zap is just the laziest way to buff it, if y'all know what I mean. So, yep, these are all my rankings. Again, if y'all are curious, I'm going to have these ranked below. Don't worry, I'm going to have timestamps for each and every one of the new moves talked about, so you can actually see all of the rankings at any time. So yeah, these are my opinions on all of the new PvP 2.0 changes. And honestly, I like most of them. I actually like most of them. I do think Jamie did a good job on a lot of these. While on other ones, I don't agree as much, but none of them, there aren't any crazy ones that I despise though. So that's really good. It just shows how good of a balancer Jamie is. It just shows how good of a PvP balancer Jamie is. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about all of the changes from PvP 2.0. If y'all wanted a quicker video, if y'all wanted it faster, you could watch Cotton Snoop's video or Speeder's video. Links to their videos will be in the description below. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. And I'll see y'all all later. Bye-bye!